Hello everyone, and welcome to a video dedicated to my boyfriend Zuzi. This is a video for Zuzi's birthday. It's a bit late. His birthday, was quite some time ago, but it is better late than never. And the reason we're playing Ride to Hell is because Zuzi bought me an Xbox 360 after mine red ringed. He bought me an Xbox 360 for my birthday, and I can't buy him an Xbox 360 for his birthday, so a video seems like the next best thing. Zuzi, by the way, is spelled Z-U-Z-Y. It is not Susie. I know you might be hearing it that way. I think I may be the only person to call him Zuzi, but that doesn't matter because it's what I call him, so it's what you'll be hearing throughout the duration of this video, where I talk about how much I love him and the time we spend together. Wait, I guess I didn't explain the Ride to Hell thing properly. Okay, so the reason this is romantic and matters is because my preferred Ride to Hell version is the 360 version, not the PS3 version. So even though I own the PS3 version, it's not quite the same, and Ride to Hell is comforting to me. So, I mean, look, I thought it was cute and romantic. I think it's a nice gesture. That's what matters. This video is just going to be full of me recounting anecdotes and recounting reasons I love Zuzi, so you better buckle in because it's going to be all mushy. But I'm getting off track from the amazing things Zuzi did for me. Anyway, the point is that Zuzi purchasing me a new Xbox 360 means I can play my preferred version of one of my comfort games. And I can also play Sonic 2006 again, which is another one of my comfort games. And I'll be able to play Craftimals again, which is yet another one of my comfort games. And that one is exclusive to the 360. That's not just a preference thing. Can only play that on the 360. But no, I didn't even know you could die in this section. Sorry. Anyway, Ride to Hell is an important game to me. It makes me feel better when I play it. It helps. It's therapeutic. So Zuzi getting me an Xbox 360 again is actually an incredibly thoughtful gift, more so than just getting me a new or replacement console normally would be. And it's one of many thoughtful things Zuzi has done for me over our relationship. And this video is basically just going to be me talking about our relationship. And you just have to live with that. This is one of those public displays of affection dealies, so you can duck out if you want, but you also have to live with the fact that this is on the channel as a testament of my love, and it's not going anywhere. So, I actually met Zuzi through a tabletop game I was playing with some others, and based on the stuff they said during the tabletop sessions and during prep for the tabletop sessions, they seemed like a really reasonable and kind person. I don't want to understate the reasonable part. Being a reasonable person is one of the most important things to me. I care very much about being reasonable. And I find reasonability to be an attractive quality in others. And I don't know about the whole love at first sight thing. Maybe that's a bit much, but I was pretty certain within the week or so that I knew them through tabletop, that I probably could have a romantic connection with them, and I wanted to see if I could kindle something like that. So the first message I ever sent Zuzi, because their tabletop character was related to card games, I asked Zuzi what their favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card was. Yeah, that's right, I go around trying to pick up boys using Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think it probably helped. I think it established some of our chemistry together. And that's what you do when you want people to know you care about them, is that you're paying attention to their interests. They also mentioned shortly after, Zuzi also mentioned shortly after that he dislikes media that sexualizes Santa, dislikes songs and jokes and stuff that sexualize Santa Claus. And I waited a couple days for the moment to have passed, and I posted a blood type Santa's Cum t-shirt or sweater. It's definitely a sweater at Zuzi to show a couple of things. Firstly, I pay very close attention to everything he says. Secondly, I care about his feelings and preferences enough to joke about them in a lighthearted fashion. And personally, I think that's pretty great. I think I was pretty great for doing that. And Zuzi forgot. He actually forgot that he even told me he had a distaste for Santa Claus being sexualized. So, from his perspective, I posted that sweater without any reason, without any sufficient context. And I didn't even find that out until months later when we've already started dating. I didn't even know the move failed until we already started dating. But that's about it for humorous pre-relationship anecdotes, because after that we just got to know each other and started discussing healthy things healthy adults discuss about relationships, like what our expectations are, should we date, how important honesty is, things like that. And then when we started dating, I think it's been pretty great almost all the way through. Like, yeah, there are times we both felt bad or argued about something or had to clarify something, but you push through that. I like to think any healthy relationship can push through that. And one of the most valuable things is how we're able to make our time with each other meaningful, no matter what it is we're doing. We just have so much more chemistry than I could have actually anticipated. We talk to each other so much and so well that we lose track of time. And I think that we just generally feel safe around each other, which is one of the most valuable things you can have. There are things in my life I never would have accomplished without Zuzi, and there are things in his life he wouldn't have accomplished without me. We support each other, we lift each other up. But enough about the relationship itself, because this is for Zuzi, it's about him. Zuzi is an incredibly smart, reasonable person who has little issue admitting when they're wrong, or just being honest intellectually in general. And that's something I think is super attractive, is thoughtfulness, and the ability to admit when you've messed up, or even admit that there's more to something than you initially thought. Because I find that's kind of rare. You know, I'm not misanthropic now, but I used to be, and I still understand that people aren't great at reason. They're not great at sorting things out in their head and figuring out what a reasonable course of action or a reasonable way to behave might be. But Zuzi is, and they're also great at doubting themselves at appropriate moments in time. I like to think I have that skill as well. So when I told them about a lot of things that were personal to me, and they felt like they weren't doing enough, I had to assure Zuzi, no, you're doing more than enough. If I told almost anyone else about the stuff I'm telling you about, they would get mad at me. You're not like that. You're a very special, understanding person who doesn't see harm in things without reason and is willing to listen. There are things about me and my mental disorders and the way I function that scare a lot of people. But Zuzi was primarily concerned that they weren't doing enough for me. That's just so sweet. That's next level. Not only were they listening and being understanding, but they were concerned that they could be doing more. And Zuzi being reasonable is super useful when we're just talking in general. Not always about heavy stuff, but like a few days ago we were talking about the placebo effect, and I said I don't believe the placebo effect is real, or if it is real, it's not practical to consider to any degree. And we had talks about that and where emotions come from and how chemicals work and stuff. And we both admitted, hey, we're not doctors. We could just be talking straight out of our ass about all of this. But we kept talking, and that's a huge benefit to dating a reasonable person, is that you know that what you're talking about could all be bullshit. It could all be absolutely nothing, because you're not professionals in the field you're discussing, not even a little bit, but you can still enjoy the entertainment value. You can still enjoy having each other's company and hearing each other's thoughts. With a lot of other people, it's not that simple. With a lot of other people, it turns into like an actual debate, and you have to... I got an S rank, Zuzi. Did you see that? That was an S rank for you, an S rank wheelie. With a lot of other people, everything turns into a debate, and someone actually ends up winning or losing, or both people just end up feeling miserable about it. But neither of us knew what we're talking about. A lot of the times, neither of us know what we're talking about, and it's fine to admit that and just roll with it. Zuzi and I also don't share a lot of the same tastes in humor, but we do share appreciation for humor in logically incongruent things. Like, for example, on an Injustice video, where I believe it's alternate universe Robin is calling Batman a criminal as an insult. One of the comments was just, Batman is not a criminal. And we found that hilarious for quite a few reasons. Firstly, Batman is a criminal. No matter what universe you're in, vigilantism is a crime. He is a criminal. Him being a hero does not mean he's not a criminal. Secondly, he's especially a criminal in the Injustice universe, like he's extra a criminal there. Thirdly, the character calling him a criminal was deliberately trying to insult him. Regardless of whether it's a statement of fact, the intention behind the words was to insult Batman. It's not like the character speaking it is the paragon of truth or any such thing. And we both found that comment funny for all of those reasons. We had a moment of solidarity in that we thought it was humorous because it was wrong on so many levels, and it's just cute that someone posted the comment even in the face of that. In the face of that clear logical issue, the many clear logical issues with their statement. We also had a good laugh about the QTEs in Injustice for a similar reason. They just make no sense. And you know, that's good stuff when your boyfriend just happens to remember the QTEs in Injustice being goofy, and then you spend 30 minutes to an hour having an amazing time talking about it. That's good stuff. That's the meat of enjoying each other's time, is enjoying each other. We're also both openly accepting about the difference in tastes we have. For example, I wouldn't be caught dead watching Game Grumps. I can't stand Game Grumps, any generation, any era of Game Grumps. Zuzi likes Game Grumps. Same with Zero Punctuation. Cannot stand it. Zuzi finds it enjoyable and intelligent. And that's fine. You know, and I'm not about to get it personal or anything. I don't know anything about the people who run Game Grumps or Zero Punctuation. I know their names, but I don't know who they are as people. They just have opinions on video games I dislike. And similarly, I love a lot of, like, fluffy stuff. Like, not just romantic fluff, which Zuzi does appreciate, because I'm very genuine about my cheesy romantic fluff. You know, I write Zuzi poetry and all that. He seems very receptive to that. But I listen to a lot of pop songs, and I watch a lot of sappy media that I adore. And Zuzi's, like, not so much into that. He doesn't hate it or anything. But we understand that, and we get along just fine, even though we have different tastes about some things dear to us. That's unfair. I just accidentally called Game Grumps dear to Zuzi. I didn't mean to do that. This is like that time I accidentally made Zuzi think that I associate him with Tier Zoo. I don't. So on to other things. I haven't seen the third movie in the Batman Begins trilogy. Zuzi has, or at least he's seen the parts with Bane in it. And Zuzi did a Bane impression, and I told him flat out, I don't believe that impression could even be remotely accurate. Like, I refuse to believe a character sounded like that in something. And then I watched a clip of the third Batman Begins trilogy movie, a clip with Bane in it, obviously, and Zuzi's impression was startlingly accurate. There was an incredible level of fidelity there. There was also that time in one of our earliest date nights when Zuzi wanted to show me The Seven Samurai. I'd never seen it before. And he didn't have a legal copy. And he spent, like, hours trying to find a pirate copy of The Seven Samurai to watch. There was one point where we got a copy that seemed to be good quality, and we were really excited. But then the subtitles started and they were in a foreign language. and that was just heart-crushing, but we also laughed. But it's one of those laughs you have to hide the pain. It was a good time, honestly. The search for the movie was just as valuable as the movie itself. We had a somewhat less rough time when he wanted to show me Lord of the Rings, though there were still bumps in the road. Oh, so about the admitting when we're wrong thing, there was a time where I mean, just in general, I think we're both pretty good at admitting when we're wrong about something or when we agree about something. We're not shy about that. But for a humorous example, there was a time where Zuzi wanted to look up films in chronological order, and he said in order of recency, and I laughed my ass off because I'd never heard the word recency. I was nearly positive that was made up, but then later I found out that it was a real word, and I didn't have to tell Zuzi it was a real word, but I did, and apologized for laughing at him. So I try to, in general, take things pretty sincerely and straightforward. I try not to use sarcasm much, if at all. I don't like sarcasm. When I used to use sarcasm, it was indistinguishable from my normal tone of voice, and I like being a genuine person that people can tell is genuine. And this has given me a sort of straight man thing, along with my my desire to be reasonable. And this has given Zuzi a challenge to try and break through my iron straight man. And most of the time it doesn't work. Most of the time he does not succeed. But sometimes he gets me baffled or outraged or confused. And when those happen, I'm drawn back to one of the earliest things he said to me. One of the very earliest things he said to me was the sentence, "I don't want to outwit, I just want to remove wit." But in addition to us just having a good time with each other, there are like genuinely sweet and lovely things that we've both said to each other that have impacted us greatly. Like, it's a dorky thing, but there was a time where Zuzi called me his Dark Souls bonfire. Like, I'm the safe place he can rest to recover. That hits hard. You know, I tell him he's an angel and call him pet names, and detail how important he is to me through poetry and through practical statements, but that I wasn't expecting that. That's like genuinely it threw me for a loop with how sweet it was, and it helps that it's such a nerdy, dorky, cheesy thing to say because he knows how much I love cheesy things. He also seriously sung me the happy birthday song on my birthday as soon as he entered a call with me, and I wasn't expecting that either, and it was 100% genuine. And I love that. I love genuine romantic affection. Unfortunately, there is that one time I wrote him poetry that I can't top. It pretty much perfectly describes how I feel, and I just can't imagine doing a better one. So I don't know what to do about that. So I rarely write him poetry, but I do still assert how much he means to me. And here is the poetry, spoken in voice, completely genuinely, just because I'm really proud of it, and it's still how I feel. Zuzi, you and your love light my heart with a passionate, numinous fire that transcends any conventional description. It sparks an unthinkably powerful confraternity of anima and rationality to ensure time spent in your romance is diaphanous bliss, a coat of shimmering beauty draped across all reality, invigorating me to become more than I am, and take pride in what I've already been. Now, I think that's wonderful, and Zuzi's wonderful, and I'm wonderful, and it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks about that, because I decide what matters to me, and he's what matters to me. You know, a lot of people are worried about saying embarrassing things. A lot of people find things like that embarrassing. I have always said, life's too short for that. I love hard. I love Zuzi hard. He's my Zuzi. He's precious to me. I wouldn't be making this video if there were any doubt in my mind about how much he means. You know, it's as I always say, cringe was just a concept invented by people who are jealous of passion and love. And this video's been in production for a while. A lot more enjoyable and lovely things have happened between me and Zuzi since this started. Even if it doesn't seem like time has passed, time has passed, so you're getting more. I had a conversation with Zuzi over Discord about Brandon Lee's death in The Crow, which stemmed from my talking about isometric beat-em-ups. The Crow City of Angels has an isometric beat-em-up, if anyone was curious. But Zuzi started talking to me about how Brandon Lee died, and he was confused about how guns work. Like, he was reading the particulars on the Wikipedia page, and I wasn't super interested, but he was. And it was enjoyable to go along for the ride, because I could, like, even though I couldn't understand his obsession with figuring out how gun firing mechanisms and bullets work, I could respect his enthusiasm. There's something adorable about it, even if the circumstance wasn't the happiest. We managed to turn someone's death into a lighthearted affair where we got another one of my boyfriends involved, and I got in trouble for asking dumb questions about guns on behalf of Zuzi. Because of Zuzi's obsession with knowing how Brandon Lee died in particular, I got to bond more with another one of my boyfriends, and that's another reason Zuzi is so amazing. Also, Zuzi says also in a weird way that I love. Please don't stop saying also the way you say also, because I love it. I was afraid this whole time that if I told you the way you said it was different, that you might be more conscious of it and try and say it differently. But I also have to tell you that I love it, right? I have to exclaim that I love the things I love about you. I was sort of torn. It was a difficult circumstance. I finally made a decision, though. That's an unintentional speech quirk I love about Zuzi, but he has intentional ones I adore too. Like, he calls chocolate milk chalky milk, and we had a discussion about how if all he could ever say was chalky milk, like if he had some sort of disorder or curse or something that forced him to only say the words chalky milk for the rest of his life, I would still love him. We'd work something out. We'd work out a system of communication. There's writing, but I guess if he was cursed to only write the words chalky milk, we could do a lot with that. Like, you could write chalky milk in so many different configurations. You could write the words chalky milk in a way that they spell out other things, I'm pretty sure. Or we could analyze the space between the letters in chalky milk to understand a greater meaning. We'd figure something out. But the point is that no matter how absurd or obnoxious the obstacle, the dedication and the loyalty are there. You know? I'm not going to say love conquers all, but it is a pretty powerful force. Love, dedication, and determination are some good stuff. Can alter reality to your will if you're powerful enough in your conviction. Hey Zuzi, I love you. I love almost everything there is about you. You're wonderful. Thank you for everything.